今日咧嘅經文係記載響詩篇第10篇，全篇就係第1至到第18節。聖經咁講：耶和華啊，你為什麼站在遠處？在患難的時候，為什麼隱藏？惡人在驕橫中，把困苦人追得火急。願他們陷在自己所設的計謀裏，因為惡人以心願自誇，貪財的背棄耶和華，並且輕慢他。惡人帶着驕傲說：耶和華必不追究，他一切所作的，都以為沒有神。凡他所做的，時常穩固。你的審判超過他的眼界。至於他一切的敵人，他都向他們噴氣。他心裏說：我必不動搖，世世代代不遭災害。他滿口是咒罵、詭詐、欺壓，舌底是毒害、奸惡。他在村莊裏埋伏等候，他在隱密處殺害無辜的人。他的眼睛窺探無依無靠的人。他埋伏在暗地，如獅子遁在洞中。他埋伏去擄去困苦人。他拉網就把困苦人擄去。他屈膝頓服，無依無靠的人就倒在他爪牙之下。他心裏說：神竟忘記了。他遮面永不觀看。耶和華啊，求你起來！神啊，求你舉手，不要忘記困苦人。惡人為何輕慢神？心裏說必不追究。其實你已經觀看，因為奸惡毒害你都看見了，為要以手施行報應。無依無靠的人把自己交託你，你向來是幫助孤兒的。願你打斷惡人的膀臂，至於壞人，願你追究他的惡，直到淨盡。耶和華永永遠遠為王，外邦人從他的地已經滅絕了。耶和華啊，謙卑人的心，願你早已知道，你必預備他們的心，也必側耳聽他們的祈求。為要給孤兒和受欺壓的人伸冤，使強橫的人不再威嚇他們。咁今日呢個信息題目係金寶塔之地。咁我哋呢邀請咗莫弟兄，佢呢係一個好年輕嘅宣教士。咁其實呢，佢琴日喺我哋團契都有分享咗，同我哋嘅年紀差唔多。佢有3個嘅仔女。咁樣咧，但係咧之前咧佢就帶住2個咧仔女咧就去到緬甸做一啲宣教嘅工作。咁啊，佢好開心，佢會帶佢嘅經驗同經歷咧嚟到同我哋分享，俾我哋咧喺加拿大呢度一路都係忙於自己工作同埋忙於教會裏面嘅工作嘅時候咧，睇見其實原來呢個世界裏面嗰個嘅福音工作係點咩嘅樣咯。咁啊，我哋有請莫弟兄。
Hello， 大家好，我叫 Aaron。我個廣東話唔係太好，所以今日會有請人幫我做翻譯。Hello everyone， thank you for coming and thank you for the introduction。
好歡迎各位今日嚟到今天嘅崇拜，同埋多謝頭先主席嘅介紹。
Okay, first of all, you're probably wondering, what am I wearing? What is this guy doing wearing a dress?
可能你哋喺度諗緊，我今日着咗呢個嘅衣服係咩意思呢？點解會有條裙嘅呢？
This is what traditional men wear in Myanmar.
呢個呢係緬甸傳統嘅男士嘅服飾。
So unlike Chinese dress, you wear this everywhere. You see people going on the bus with this. You see people sitting in restaurant and going to school dressed like this.
喺緬甸呢，你見到我哋出街食飯啦，我哋去返學啦、返工啦，好多男士都係會咁樣着嘅。
So the bottom half is influenced by India. It's a dress. There is no button. There is no clip. This is tied on. And yes, I'm wearing something underneath. Okay?
下邊呢一條裙呢係冇任何嘅紐啦，冇任何嘅扣啦，係就咁一塊布，但係綁住，咁同埋條裙嘅下腳底呢係會有着住褲嘅。
Okay? The top is from a tribe called Karen. In one of the tribes in Myanmar, there's something really special about it.
上面呢件衫呢係喺緬甸嘅其中一個民族叫做 Karen， 咁呢件衫係有一個好特別嘅地方。
You look at the front,
你睇下前邊、
and you look at the back.
後面
It is the same.
係一樣嘅。
The message they want to say to you is, when people look at you from the front, and when people look at you from the back, are you the same person they see?
個信息呢就係、當人哋喺前面見到你，同埋喺人後，你係咪都係同樣嘅人呢？
So I want to welcome you to the land of Myanmar.
今日呢，我想歡迎大家嚟到緬甸呢個地方。
A little bit of background. Myanmar got internet in 2015.
緬甸呢，其實係喺2015年嘅時候先至有網絡嘅。
Very, very late. So it's very close country until 2015.
係一個好封閉嘅國家，直至2015年為止。
Most of them are Buddhists, 78% Buddhists, only 5% Christian.
有78%咧都係佛教徒，只有5%係基督徒。
Okay? Open Doors, a Christian organization that say what is the bad place to be a Christian, rank Myanmar as bottom 17 place to be a Christian.
喺呢個世界最差宗教民族主義排名咧係倒數嘅，即係最差嘅第17位。
It is worse than China.
即係比中國係更加差嘅。
So right now I'm going to tell you about Myanmar through the story of 4 youth.
今日咧，我會同大家講下緬甸透過4個年青人嘅故事。
2021, February 1st.
我哋咧翻到去2021年嘅2月1日，
It is a day that every person in Myanmar will remember.
係每一個喺緬甸嘅人都會記得嘅一日。
This is the day that the army marched into the parliament, arrested every politician, and declared themselves as the ruler of the country.
就係呢一個軍隊去到呢個政府入邊，然後捉拿咗每一個嘅人，然後就話佢哋自己係嗰個政權。
As a result, protests broke out. Tens of thousands of people flooded the street, saying, "You're not my government. We want the government that we have voted for to come back."
之後呢，就有好多嘅市民啦喺條街度遊行，就係話你哋唔係我哋選擇嘅政府，我哋想我哋選擇嘅人翻嚟成為我哋嘅政府。
And how did the military respond?
個軍隊係點樣去回應呢啲嘅市民呢？
Arrests, tear gas, riots on the street.
就將佢哋捉拿啦，同埋有啲嘅催淚彈、呢啲煙淚彈啦，同埋喺條街上面有好多嘅抗爭。
Every youth knows 3 types of people.
每一個年輕人呢，佢哋都識得3類唔同嘅人。
One, they know someone who has been arrested and put in jail during that time.
第一個呢，就係曾經被監禁過嘅人，喺嗰段時候被監禁嘅人。
They know one person that was killed during this time.
第二類呢，就係一個因為嗰件事情死去嘅人。
They know one person who has ran away either to a different country or ran away to become a rebel, to take up arms and fight against the military.
另外一個呢，就係逃亡咗去另外一啲國家嘅人啦，或者係去一啲成為一個挑戰軍隊嘅人。
And they broke into a civil war with the rebel owning 50% of the country.
之後呢，就成為咗一個政變啦，一個打仗啦。咁rebel，我唔識得中文點樣翻譯，就係有一半嘅人啦，50% 嘅人係。
And what does that look like on the ground? University are closed.
咁對於民生嚟講係咩意思呢？大學就關閉咗。
Doctors, teachers, and a lot of civil servants went on strike saying we will not work for this government.
好多嘅教師啦、公務員啦同埋醫生，佢哋都罷工，話我哋唔會為呢個政府去做工。
Factories are closed.
好多嘅工廠亦都喺嗰陣時候關閉咗。
Unemployment record high.
失業率非常嘅高。
And worst of all, what is affected are the youth.
而最慘嘅呢，就係呢啲年輕人冇咗希望。
When I went to the country, the stories of lots of youth are like this.
當我去到呢一個國家嘅時候，嗰度有好多年青人，佢哋嘅故事都係一樣嘅。
The youth will come up to me and say, "Teacher, before the military coup, I dream of being a doctor. I dream of being a teacher. Now I don't know what to do with my life."
佢同我講話，老師，我喺政變之前呢，我嘅夢想係成為一個教師，或者我嘅夢想係成為一位嘅醫生，但係而家我唔知我仲可以做乜嘢。
I wake up every day, go talk to my friends, and just try to survive.
我每一日起身同我嘅朋友去傾談，我哋都只不過係只希望可以活着。
I don't want to go to school anymore because the school is run by the government.
我唔想去返學，因為學校係政府辦嘅機構。
And I have nothing to look forward to in life.
同埋我嘅生命係冇前望嘅，冇展望嘅。
As you can see, what happens in the news affect the whole country. You can now see how it affects that one youth that you're leading.
頭先政變嘅事件呢，唔單止係影響咗成個國家，亦都係影響咗呢啲年輕人嘅生命。
I want to tell you about Pastor Mary.
我想介紹大家認識Mary 牧師。
Pastor Mary was put in jail during this time.
佢呢就係喺嗰段時間被收入監獄入邊。
She was not part of the protest. She did not do anything violent.
佢冇參加過嗰個嘅示威遊行，亦都冇做過任何暴力嘅事情。
Why was she put in jail?
點解佢會坐咗監呢？
She was put in jail because she posted something on Facebook that is anti-military.
因為呢，佢喺 Facebook 上邊呢post 咗一啲嘢係對於呢個軍隊呢係反對軍隊嘅。
The worst part is she didn't even write the post. She reposted something someone else wrote.
仲要嗰個唔係佢自己寫嘅一篇文章，只不過係重鋪人哋寫嘅一篇文章。
Her neighbor found out about it, called the police, and the police came and arrested her.
係佢嘅鄰居知道咗之後，就打電話俾警察，然後警察就嚟捉咗呢個 Mary 牧師。
She has a 13-year-old daughter and an 11-year-old son.
佢有一個15歲嘅女兒同埋一個11歲嘅兒子。
The son told her dad, like, "I don't want to wake up anymore. Why do I want to wake up? Mom will still not be there when I wake up."
佢嘅兒子呢就話：點解我每朝早仲要起身呢？我都唔想起身啊，因為我擘大眼嘅時候，我媽咪都唔會喺度。
When I went into the country, many people asking me, "Why is this happening to us?"
當我去到呢個國家嘅時候，有好多人都問我點解呢啲嘅事情會發生喺我哋嘅身上？
Why would God allow this to happen to our country?
點解神會允許呢啲嘅事情發生喺緬甸呢個國家？
How would you answer that if someone come to you and ask why?
如果有人咁樣問你呢個問題，你會點樣去回答？
It took me a long time, and my answer is I don't know.
我都諗咗好長嘅一段時間，但係我嘅答案仍然係我都唔知道。
Because I know it's not an answer that they're looking for. What they were looking for is people to sit with them and sit together with them and ask, "How long, God? How long?"
因為其實佢哋心目中所求嘅答案唔係點解，而係仲有幾耐。
I remember one day I was sitting there and trying to pray about the situation at home.
有一日，我記得我坐喺嗰度屋企入邊，為到呢件事情去禱告。
And I tried to open my mouth, but I could not find the words to say to God.
當我想開口去祈禱嘅時候，我揾唔到適合嘅詞語去同神講。
I don't know about you. I grew up in a Chinese church here in Toronto.
我呢係喺多倫多一個華人教會長大嘅。
And I was taught growing up that prayer means I need to say thank you to God and to confess something to God and try not to ask too much up to God.
由細到大呢，我嘅教導呢，就係祈禱嘅時候要感謝神啦，我哋要將我哋嘅頌讚榮耀歸俾神啦，但係唔可以求太多嘅嘢。
But when I was sitting there that night, what I recognized is I was very angry at the injustice, angry at what is going on around me.
但係嗰天嘅晚上，我記得我嘅心入邊係好憤怒呢啲嘅不公同埋呢個國家周圍所發生緊嘅事情。
And I remember at that point, this is how David prayed.
然後我就記得喺嗰段時間就記得大衛係咁樣禱告嘅。
So I want us to read this passage out together.
我想我哋一齊去讀詩篇第10篇嘅1至11節。預備。耶和華啊，你為什麼站在遠處？在患難的時候，為什麼隱藏？惡人在驕縱中把窮人逼得火急，願他們陷在自己所設的計謀裏，因為惡人以心願自誇，貪財的背棄耶和華，並且輕慢他。惡人面帶驕傲，說耶和華必不追究，他一切所想的都以為沒有神。凡他所做的，時常堅固。你的審判超過他的眼界，至於他一切的敵人，他都向他們噴氣。他心裏說：我必不動搖，世世代代不遭難。他滿口是咒罵、詭詐、欺壓、舌底是毒害、奸寒。他在村莊裏埋伏等待，他的隱密處殺害無辜的人。他的眼睛窺探無依無靠的人，他俯伏在暗地，如獅子在洞中。他埋伏要擄去困苦人，他拉網就把困苦人擄去。他屈膝俯伏，無依無靠的人就倒在他爪牙之下。他心裏說：神竟忘記了，他掩面永不觀看。
David wrote these psalms thousands of years ago, yet when I read it, every single verse is something that I can see happening right now.
大衛呢嗰篇詩篇已經係幾千年前寫嘅，但係當我讀嘅時候呢，其實就係好似呢啲嘅事情而家發生緊一樣。
Corruptions are everywhere, evil people planning something destructive, and every single time I read the news.
詭詐啦、欺壓，每一次當我睇到嘅新聞都係呢一啲嘅信息。
Every time I talk to my students, to pastors, to the local church, this is what they feel like every single day.
每一次我同我嘅學生傾偈，同教會嘅牧者傾偈，呢啲亦都係佢哋心底所感受到嘅。
And I'm reminded that this is in the Psalms, which is the songbook. People go and sing this when they go to church.
然後我就記得呢個唔係我哋去教會所唱嘅詩。
Now, the worship team did a great job this morning, and I remember every time I go to church in Toronto, what we sing is "How great is our God," saying thank you to God.
今日咧敬拜小組咧喺嗰度帶領我哋敬拜。當我每一次去教會嘅時候，我哋敬拜所唱嘅詩歌都係讚頌神有幾咁嘅偉大，神有幾咁好。
Would you imagine singing this at church on Sunday?
你可唔可以想像，如果禮拜日崇拜喺教會度唱一篇嘅詩歌係呢啲嘅詞語？
But yet, what I learned in Myanmar is that is that shared connection of sharing, sitting there together with them and saying, "How long, God? How long?" It is what they need at that time.
但係我學習到喺緬甸嘅時候，嗰度嘅人就係需要我哋同佢坐埋一齊，然後同佢一齊去思想，我哋仲有問神仲有幾耐，或仲還有幾耐。
So what does it look like to be a missionary in Myanmar at that time?
嗰陣時候對於宣教或者宣教士嚟講係有咩影響？
Okay, when I got there, every other foreigner, every other missionary have left the country.
當我去到嘅時候，每一個嘅外國人或者係宣教士，佢哋都離開咗呢個國家。
There used to be a short-term mission trip from Chinese churches from Toronto every year. They have stopped coming.
以前呢，每年喺多倫多有個教會呢，都會有短宣團隊去到緬甸。自此之後呢，佢哋唔再去緬甸啦。
I walk out the door, this is what I see every single day.
每一日我出門，我都係見到畫面上面嘅呢個情況。
There's soldiers with guns standing at every street corner. There are soldiers with guns pointing out at the car.
每一日咧都有一啲士兵攞住槍企喺度，同埋指住啲槍對住啲車。
And 8 hours of power cut every single day.
而每一日都有8個鐘頭嘅停電。
Imagine the youth that you're reading right now. They're trying to study during a power cut at 40-degree weather.
你想象下，頭先你所讀到嘅呢位嘅年輕人喺40度嘅高溫以下，佢哋嘗試去讀書，然後每日仲要係停電8個小時。
The money deflated by 80%.
佢哋嘅幣值咧，亦都係貶值咗80%。
The factory workers, where most of the people are in the church I serve in, works, they make less than $2 a day.
喺工廠入邊做嘢嘅工人呢，每日嘅人工係低過2蚊嘅美元。
$2 a day, not $2 an hour. $2
唔係每
one
個小
day.
時，係每一日2蚊嘅美元。
This is a lineup you will see on the street, and every time you see it, we know it is a sale for oil. So they will line up for around the block just to save a few cents.
如果喺你街度見到有好多人嘅排隊呢，就係因為佢哋排隊去買呢個嘅油，因為可以慳少少錢。
Okay. The next day that everyone remembers is February 2024.
然後下一個日子，每個人都記得嘅呢，就係2024年嘅2月。
This is the day the government announced a conscription law.
呢一日呢，政府就出咗一個叫做憲兵法。
Every man at the age of 18 to 35 and every woman under the age of 27, we are going to take 5,000 people to be in the army.
每一個月，佢哋都會喺男士18至35歲之中，或者係女士18至27歲之中、27歲之中，每個月都揀5000人入去軍隊入邊。
That's every single one of the youth that you're reading in that age group.
頭先你哋所讀到嘅呢啲嘅年青人呢，好大部分都係喺呢個嘅年齡層入邊嘅。
Okay, let me put this in perspective. This is not like Russia trying to take over Ukraine. This is a civil war.
呢個唔係話俄羅斯同烏克蘭打仗，呢一個係國家自己入邊一啲民嘅打仗。
This is a youth hearing about this. They interpret this as you want me to fight in a war that I don't want against people that is my own flesh and blood from my own tribe.
對於一個年輕人嚟講，佢嘅諗法就係政府想我去做一啲我唔想做嘅嘢，想我去攻打一啲我自己嘅朋友、我自己嘅家人。
This is fighting for a government that made your life more miserable in the last 3 years and took away your freedom.
呢個係幫助一個政府，而呢一個政府喺咁多年入邊係奪去咗我嘅自由，同埋令到我嘅生命更加困難嘅一個政府。
They made the announcement on Saturday. I showed up to church on Sunday, and I can see every single youth in that service very depressed. Some of them even saying, I want to die.
呢一個係喺政府係喺星期六發出嚟嘅呢個信息。喺星期日，當我返到教會崇拜嘅時候，我見到全部嘅年輕人，佢哋都非常非常嘅沮喪，甚至有人嚟同我講話，我想死。
I want us to read out the rest of the Psalms together.
我想我哋一齊將詩篇以下嘅一齊讀埋。詩篇第10篇12至到18節。
As you read it out this time, I want you to read this out as a prayer.
當我哋去朗讀嘅時候，我希望大家係用一個禱告嘅方式去讀出嚟。我哋一齊讀詩篇第10篇12至18節。耶和華，求你起來，神啊，求你舉手， 不要忘記困苦人。惡人為何輕慢神？心裏說你必不追究。其實你已觀看，因為奸惡毒害你都看見了，又要以手施行報應。無依無靠的人把自己交託你，你向來是幫助孤兒的。願你打斷惡人的膀臂，至於壞人，願你追究他們的惡，直到正盡。耶和華永永遠遠為王，外邦人從他的地已經滅絕了。耶和華謙卑人的心，願你早已知道。你必預備他們的心，也必側耳聽他們的禱告，為要給孤兒和受欺壓的人伸冤，使強行的人不再威嚇他們。
I am reminded that God is still in control, even when we don't see it.
每一日我都被提醒，雖然我哋睇唔到，但係神仍然係掌權嘅嗰一位。
In the midst of all the troubles that you read about, that I see every single day, I know that God is still in control.
雖然有好多嘅患難，當你睇到好多嘅困難，但係我知道神仍然係在掌管。
How do I know this?
我點解會知道？
Every time I visit a church, I hear some of the same stories.
每一次我去探訪教會，我都聽到同樣嘅故事。
They have grown from before COVID, 30 people, to 60 people, to 90 people, to 120 people even.
佢哋由疫情之前嘅30人增長到60、90、120，甚至係更多嘅人。
How did they grow so much in the last few years when you have COVID-19 and you have the military coup?
點解佢哋雖然係有疫情，又有呢啲嘅軍隊嘅侵入，點解佢哋可以增長得咁快呢？
The answer is very simple. This is their strategy. We have rice, you don't, I'm going to share my rice with you.
其實就係有一個好簡單嘅策略，就係我哋有米飯，你哋冇，我哋就會同你哋分享。
You're sick, I will come and take you to the doctor.
如果你病嘅話，我就會嚟帶你去睇醫生。
You're scared to leave your house, we will come and visit you and pray with you.
如果你係驚唔敢出門嘅話，我哋嚟到你嘅家入邊去探望你，同你一齊禱告。
You don't want to go to school, we will run an education center at our church.
如果你唔想返學，我哋喺教會入邊就會有一個教學中心，以至可以將教導一啲嘅小朋友同埋年青人。
And in that same way, they show God's love in action, being the hands and feet of Jesus to the community.
佢哋就係以呢啲嘅方法去將神嘅愛、耶穌基督嘅愛帶俾嗰度嘅國家同埋嗰度社區嘅人。
Back to the story of Pastor Mary.
我哋翻返去 Mary 牧師嘅故事。
1 year, she was in jail for 1 year
佢
before she
喺
was
監
released.
獄入邊呢，總共係有1年嘅時間。
One day, she showed up to church and she came to me and said, Aaron, come, we need to introduce you to my friend.
有一日呢，佢喺教會入邊呢，就同我講話 ：Aaron， 你過嚟，我想介紹一位朋友俾你認識。
And I asked them simply, how did you meet?
跟住就問你哋點樣認識㗎？
They were in the same cell at jail.
原來咧，佢哋喺監獄入邊呢，係喺同一個監倉。
Pastor Mary was released earlier, and she left the one thing that was the most precious to her friend, her Bible.
Mary 牧師呢係比較早喺監獄放出嚟嘅，佢留咗一樣最寶貴嘅俾佢嘅朋友，就係嗰本聖經。
And so her friend got to read the Bible, and when she came out of jail, the first thing she says, I need to find Mary and give the Bible back.
咁當佢嘅朋友喺監獄入邊一路讀聖經，而當佢出咗監之後，佢第一件事所諗到嘅呢，就係話我要揾呢個 Mary 牧師將呢本聖經還翻俾佢。
Second thing is, I want to get baptized.
然後第二樣呢，就係我想受浸。
I want to tell you about another pastor, a very good friend of mine.
我想呢，大家認識另外一位嘅牧者係我嘅好朋友。
And I was sitting there eating dinner with her one day, and I simply asked her a question.
有一日呢，我同佢食飯，我就問咗佢一條簡單嘅問題。
Pastor, the war is coming to our city. It's not a matter of if, it's more about when it will come to the city.
我就問呢位牧者，我話呢個仗將會嚟到我哋嘅打仗將會嚟到我哋嘅城市，唔係話會唔會打到嚟嘅問題，而係幾時會打到嚟。
You have young children.
你有啲好細嘅小朋友，
You have family member in the US. They will gladly sponsor you to leave the country.
你亦都有屋企人喺美國，佢哋亦都好願意嘅可以資助你去美國嗰度。
Are you going to leave?
你會唔會離開？
She didn't even think. She turned to me and said, Aaron, it is our duty.
佢諗都冇諗，然後就同我講話呢個係我哋嘅職責。
What she meant is this.
佢嘅意思係咁樣嘅。
She has an orphanage home with 30 children in her care.
佢呢有一間孤兒院，孤兒院入邊有大概30位嘅孤兒。
She said, I can leave, but what about the children here in the church?
佢話就算我走咗，咁呢個教會孤兒院入邊嘅小朋友點樣？
I might leave, but what about those people in our church who cannot leave, the adults and the elderly?
教會入邊有好多嘅老人家，有好多嘅大人，佢哋走唔到。
What example am I setting for them?
如果我走咗嘅話，我係成為一個咩嘅榜樣？
And what she also meant is this. She might not be fighting in the war. She might not be holding her arms or guns, but she knows that her place, the duty that God has placed in her heart, is to take care of the children and the church during this time.
佢同我講，佢話佢知道佢嘅責任，雖然唔係喺呢場仗入邊攞住支槍或者同人哋直接嘅打仗，但係佢知道神俾佢嘅職責就係喺教會入邊去照顧呢啲嘅孤兒，照顧呢啲嘅老人家。
She can say that because she has hope. Hope that one day democracy will come back to Myanmar. Hope that one day that the government they want will be elected again.
佢可以咁講係因為佢有盼望，盼望有一天呢個和平自由會再翻嚟呢個地方，而佢哋所選擇嘅政府會再一次成為呢個國家嘅政權。
And as I reflect on that, I realize we have the similar hope. We hope that one day we know that peace will reign again. We know that God, Jesus will come back and take away all the injustice.
其實當我諗下，我哋都有同樣嘅盼望，就係一日當耶穌再來嘅時候，所有嘅不公義、所有嘅不公平都會抹去。
And what is our duty until then?
咁我哋嘅職責又係咩呢？
What is the duty that God has placed on us in this time between Jesus rising from dead and Jesus coming again?
當我哋喺度等待緊耶穌再來嘅時候，神俾我哋嘅職責又係乜嘢呢？
Thank you very much.
多謝各位。